So we learn to appreciate the course of life from, looking at the insight, the philosophy of the moon teaches us how to appreciate the course of life, that life is shifting all the time. It's growing, it's reducing, it's growing, it's reducing. And every time it's reducing, I'm learning something new. And then I appreciate the growth of it. I appreciate the light that comes into my life from it. It doesn't stay as traumatic as yesterday because I've grown and I've learned to take things in a much more peaceful way. So the growth allows me serenity. And that growth actually is, chesed, but you could also say that it's gura, because you have to teach yourself, right? But it's a lot of chesed. You tell yourself, um, I just love learning. I love the learning process of life. I don't only need to reach a certain goal. I also love the process of life, the growth process. I learn to appreciate that. So in a way, it's chesed shebenetzach also. Um,
Chesed v'netzach.
Shebenetzach.
Shebenetzach.
Yeah, which starting tonight.
Yeah.
So,
So the whole week is Netzach?
so this week is going to be Netzach. Yeah.
Victory.
Yeah.
Buy a lottery ticket.
Right leg or left leg?
Yeah. Um, okay, so also, so what is also Chesed Shebenetzach? It's that feeling. It's that what's the word? Commitment. Netzach comes with commitment. So, but the Chesed brings in the patience, right? Brings in the serenity, right? It's actually like Chesed and Netzach. Like, it was interesting. Um, First of all, Netzach is on the right side of the Sfirot. So if you look at it here, I'll show it to you again. Right? We have Chesed here and we have Netzach. Right? And we have the Gvura line. So Netzach is on the right side, which is always going to be Chesed. So Chesed Shel Netzach basically is like the ultimate light that you bring into like when you know that you have all the time in the world, you have all the patience in the world. When you're connected to Hashem on an eternity level, when you understand that He is eternal, the time is eternal. So you have all the patience in the world. When you look at life from a very materialistic, physical world, I have 70 years upon this earth or 120 years upon this earth, and I have a lot to accomplish. Life starts to.
You have 40 minutes to give a lesson, and you have to put these things into the lesson and achieve these goals. And
Right?
Yeah.
And then in the meantime, you miss on all the education in school because you have to give material, right?
You have
So, right. So in a way, we forgot what's education because we're like so unconnected to Netzach, right? We don't understand that a kid and every person has their own journey and they need to learn on their own pace. And we need to give them all the time in the world to learn. Look at us, we're so old, we're still so stupid.
Oh
Or
boy.
sometimes I think when people get older, they get even worse.
What?
Sometimes when people, I'm sorry to say this, but sometimes when people get older, they get more stupid.
Yeah, sometimes you talk to children, they're like, they've got it all, and we forgot it all.
It's like a bell curve. You get smarter, you learn to shut up. Then you're older and you don't care anymore. So you say whatever the hell comes to your head.
And this is called wisdom. Chokmah.
Right.
That's interesting.
So the netzel gives you the commitment, the stubbornness, the commitment and the stubbornness, basically, to
Perseverance.
pursuing, resilience. Yeah. And the chesed gives you that, and it comes together really in the most fine way, those two, right? Because it just gives you the understanding that I can breathe, I can let go. I can, like, you try to bring up your kids, give them everything, right? Like, teach them everything in 5 minutes or whatever, in 15 years, right? 18 years, whatever. Then you grow older and you understand, okay, I'm still growing, they're still growing, it's all okay. I'm going to give over, it's actually a mitzvah to give over to your grandchildren at least as much as you give on a ideological level, on a learning level, right? You're supposed to be learning Torah with your grandchildren at least as much as you did with your children, but taking the idea that you have much more freer time than when your children were younger, right? And you had no time to learn with them because you were so busy feeding them. So now as a grandparent, you even have more time to learn with them, right? And you have more wisdom to learn with them, right? And once you take that, deep breath of like, okay, everybody's on their journey and it's okay. And Hashem has all the patience with us in the world. So I have all the patience with my children, with my grandchildren. And I can and when I do it, out of this place of like, I believe in you and I trust you. And with myself also, by the way, I believe in myself that I'm growing and I forgive myself for my mistakes and I keep growing and I let myself off the hook a little bit, so I let off the hook other people for their stupidity, for their silliness, for their mistakes, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I give that all the time in the world, fine, as long as we're progressing, as long as we're working on it, learning. So basically both Malchut Shabbatiferet, like I want to a little bit connect, it shouldn't be that also try to always think if like how yesterday is connected to today and how today is connected to tomorrow in this Sfirot, right? So I want to connect a little bit Malchut Shabbatiferet and Netzach and Chesed Shabbanetzach. So both Malchut Shabbatiferet and Chesed Shabbanetzach are a little bit outgoing towards the world, right? I mean, everything is also inwards and outwards, but Malchut is like a lot of like it's a lot of inspiration towards the world. It's a lot of I'm king or queen towards myself, right? But I'm also a little bit like a leader to the world, each one on our level. We're a little bit a leader to the world, a leader to our family, a leader to our communities. Not necessarily a leader, yeah, but like a little bit. I'm a part of the leadership of the community. I'm a part of in my family, I'm more the leader, right? And over myself, I'm number one leader, right? So when I'm owning, Malchut is a lot of owning who I am. When I'm owning seriously who I am, and in this case, I'm owning Tiferet, right? So like it gives me the same kind of place when I'm owning Tiferet, when I'm owning the balance, when I'm not pressured by like all this. Oh, what a bummer! One time I go too much to the Chesed, one time I go too much to the Gvura. When am I finally gonna get it right? Right? So the Chesed Shabbanetzach becomes much easier, right? Because I have so much more patience and love towards myself. Like we said, "V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha." How will I have love and patience towards someone else? By first of all having that towards myself. Once I let myself off the hook, it will be easier for me to let others.
But it's also interesting, it's like what we're talking about too with the good work. It's like the balance of letting yourself off the hook and the balance of not letting yourself off the hook too.
Right.
Because like
It's also the balance.
being a leader also means that you're responsible, and it doesn't mean that like
Right.
it doesn't mean that like you
Right.
decide to do certain
Right.
things that could
Right.
hurt others.
Right. You can tell yourself, those, some way of speech is absolutely unforgivable, right? I cannot talk that way. For one person, it will be vulgarity, for another person it will be cynicism, for a third person it will be whatever it is, right? Um, um, you know, it's like, how do I own? Oh, that's another thing. Malchut is words. Malchut is also symbolized as speech. So the number one thing that we have in this world as humans, unlike any other creation in the world, is speech. So it's also very important to remember that it's everything we're talking about is very much about speech, because in the end, you know, we don't communicate with our hands. Yes, we Jews are, but
Do if you're Jewish.
what?
Do if you're Jewish.
Right. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna come and hit you because, you know, like, right, I communicate, but I can hit you with my words, God forbid. And my hitting you with words is so much more painful sometimes, right? Words to forget is really, really hard.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't know if you're hitting someone with your words. You're trying to be helpful.
Right,
You're just causing pain.
right, right. So that it also has to do with education, right? There was Rabbi Steinsaltz, alav shalom, used to give a little guidance to his teachers after school he created before every school year. And he would say, do me a favor, don't do anything, don't educate them, just don't ruin them.
Sounds like the Steinsaltz humor.
Right? He's like, you think you come with all this pathos and, you know, like all your charisma and all your, like, you know, something about life, you know? So, and you start laying it all on the poor little children, you know? While they sense from us that everything we're talking, you know, we're still not really managing to activate seriously and honestly and you know, and we're not there, right? We're talking about it, but we're not really completely there, and they sense it,
There's
right?
a disconnect to what they see us do and what they hear us say to do.
Right? So it's like, just, you know, just watch not to ruin their hearts, you know, just, wow.
What's his first name?
What?
What's his first name?
Adim, right, Adim. Totally. He was the sweetest person. I had the opportunity of meeting him once. He really did me a favor. It was sort of a miracle story.